Don't touch my butt. But the alien princess wanted me anyway. The glowing violet atmosphere of planet Nix swirled around the diplomatic shuttle as it made its descent. Inside, Malik Rahman gripped his seat, stomach lurching with each turbulent bump. He'd spent years studying xenoanthropology, but nothing had prepared him for becoming Earth's first cultural ambassador to a newly discovered civilization. Final approach to Celestial City, announced the AI pilot. Atmospheric composition stable. Local time equivalent to Earth's dusk. Malik checked his translator implant and smoothed down his regulation uniform. The Nixians had made contact just 6 months ago, and information about their culture remained frustratingly sparse. All he knew was they appeared humanoid, valued ceremony, and had a complex social hierarchy. The shuttle landed with a gentle thud. As the door hissed open, Malik was struck by the sweet, spicy scent of alien air. A small delegation waited on the crystalline landing platform, their postures formal and reserved. Among them stood a figure that instantly captured Malik's attention. Unlike the others in muted blue ceremonial robes, she wore shimmering silver, adorned with what looked like constellations. Her skin was a rich purple that seemed to glow in the fading light, contrasting beautifully with her flowing black hair that cascaded past her shoulders. "Welcome, Earth Dweller," spoke the tallest delegate. "We have an astral alignment going on. Princess Zara has graciously paused her ceremonial duties to greet you." The purple-skinned woman stepped forward, her expression unreadable. "I am Zara, Celestial Princess of the Nixian Royal House. Your timing is inconvenient." I bowed deeply. "I apologize for any disruption, Your Highness. I am Malik Rahman, xenoanthropologist and cultural ambassador from Earth." As they walked toward the gleaming city, Malik tried to absorb every detail: the crystalline architecture, the orbit of 3 moons visible in the darkening sky, and most distractingly, Princess Zara's presence beside him. When she stumbled slightly on the path, Malik instinctively reached out to steady her, his hand briefly touching the small of her back. The reaction was immediate. Gasps erupted from the delegation. Zara jerked away as if burned, her violet eyes wide with shock. "You dare?" she hissed. "No one touches the royal person without permission, especially not there." Malik stepped back, horrified. "I deeply apologize, Princess. I meant no disrespect." The tension hung thick in the air until one of the older advisors whispered something to Zara. Her expression shifted slightly. "The off-worlder cannot know our ways yet, Princess," the advisor murmured. Zara's gaze lingered on Malik. Something unreadable flickered in her expression. Was it curiosity beneath the outrage? "You will learn our customs, Ambassador, including when not to touch a princess's posterior regions." Despite the severity of her tone, Malik thought he detected the slightest quirk at the corner of her mouth. "First lesson in Nixian diplomacy," she added. "We value our personal space. Remember that, and perhaps your visit will not end in interplanetary incident." As they resumed walking, Malik noticed her glancing back at him when she thought he wasn't looking. This assignment had just become far more complicated and intriguing than he had ever anticipated.
The Nixian greeting is performed with palms facing outward, never touching, Princess Zara explained, demonstrating the gesture. Physical contact is reserved for family or bonded partners. For 2 weeks, Malik had endured daily lessons in Nixian protocol. The royal palace's crystalline study chamber amplified Zara's already commanding presence, her purple skin seeming to absorb the ambient light while her black hair remained perfectly styled despite the humid atmosphere. "And this is why my cultural misstep was so shocking," Malik said, carefully mirroring her gesture. "On Earth, a light touch to guide someone is considered polite." Zara's violet eyes narrowed. "Especially touching someone's posterior region?" Malik flushed. "No, that was purely accidental. I was aiming for your upper back." A hint of amusement crossed her face. "The court still speaks of it. The bold earth dweller who dared touch the royal backside. Wonderful, Malik groaned. My legacy established on day one. Consider yourself fortunate. Historical punishment for such offense included crystallization. Crystallization? Being turned to crystal. Permanently. Seeing his horrified expression, she added, "We've evolved beyond such measures, obviously." Their daily sessions had developed an unexpected rhythm. Despite her initial coldness, Zara proved to be a knowledgeable teacher, and Malik found himself looking forward to their meetings more than his actual research. Later that week, Malik was documenting Nixian artifacts when alarms blared throughout the palace. A minor tremor, common on Nix, shook the chamber. As the display cases rattled, Malik noticed a priceless celestial orb wobbling precariously. Without thinking, he lunged forward, catching the sphere just as it fell. When the tremors subsided, he found Zara staring at him, her expression uncharacteristically soft. "That orb contains star fragments from our first contact with the cosmos. It's irreplaceable." "Just right place, right time," Malik replied, carefully returning it. "Perhaps," she said, studying him with new interest, "there's more to Earth dwellers than I first assumed." That evening, Malik received an unexpected invitation to join the princess for a private dinner, a significant honor according to his research. As they dined on exotic Nixian delicacies beneath the three moons, their conversation flowed more naturally, venturing beyond protocol into personal territory. "Why xenoanthropology?" Zara asked, pouring a luminescent beverage into his glass. "I believe understanding between different species begins with cultural respect, though I clearly have more to learn." Her laughter, the first he'd heard, was melodic and genuine. "Well, Ambassador Malik, to cultural understanding and keeping hands where they belong." As they toasted, their eyes met, and Malik felt something shift between them, something beyond diplomatic relations, something neither of them had anticipated.
The Grand Lunar Festival transformed Celestial City into a spectacular display of lights and music. Malik watched in awe as Nixians performed intricate aerial dances among floating luminescent orbs. Impressed? Zara appeared beside him, dressed in ceremonial attire that accentuated her regal bearing. Her traditional headdress framed her face, making her violet features appear even more striking. "It's beautiful," Malik admitted. "Nothing like this exists on Earth." The festival celebrates connectivity between stars, planets, and people. She hesitated. "Would you join me for the Unity Dance? For diplomatic purposes, of course." The Unity Dance, Malik knew from his research, was typically reserved for those with close relationships. "Are you sure that's appropriate, Princess?" "I make the rules," she said with surprising playfulness. "Consider it advanced cultural education." The dance involved partners moving in synchronized orbits without touching, perfectly aligned with Nixian distancing customs. As they began, Malik was acutely aware of every eye on them, particularly those of the royal advisors. The music pulsed through the air, vibrating with otherworldly harmonics. Zara moved with fluid grace, her body responding to the rhythm as naturally as breathing. Malik followed her lead, maintaining the prescribed distance while feeling inexplicably drawn closer. As the dance intensified, they spiraled closer to each other, the space between them charged with unspoken tension. For a brief moment, the crowd, the music, the entire festival seemed to fade away, until there was only Zara, her violet eyes locked with his. "You dance well for an off-worlder," she murmured, close enough that he could detect the sweet spice of her breath. "I have an excellent teacher," he replied. The music reached its crescendo, and tradition dictated the dancers separate with a respectful bow. Instead, Zara's fingers brushed against his, a fleeting, deliberate touch that sent electricity through him. By Nixian standards, the gesture was shockingly intimate. The moment ended when Lord Vex, Zara's cousin and royal security minister, approached with obvious disapproval. "Princess, your presence is required by the celestial elders." Zara composed herself quickly. "Of course. Excuse me, Ambassador." As she departed, Vex lingered, his pale purple features hardened into contempt. "Remember your place, Earth Dweller. The princess might find your alienness novel, but do not mistake curiosity for affection." Later that night, Malik found Zara alone in the palace gardens, gazing at the stars. "Your cousin seems protective," he observed. "Vex believes in absolute purity of Nixian bloodlines and traditions," she sighed. "He leads those opposed to Earth relations." "And what do you believe?" She turned to face him, challenging very cultural boundaries she'd taught him. "You are unexpected, Malik Rahman. You make me question things I've never questioned." "Such as?" She whispered. "Such as why we feared touch so much, what we might be missing." For a heartbeat, Malik thought she might close the remaining distance between them. Instead, voices approached and she stepped back, her royal mask sliding back into place. "Princess," a court official called, approaching with visible concern. "Forgive the intrusion, but being alone with the off-worlder is against protocol. The elders request your immediate presence." As Zara was led away, she glanced back at Malik, her expression a complex mixture of regret and resolve. Something had awakened between them, something that challenged centuries of Nixian tradition, and neither of them knew what would happen next.
Malik couldn't sleep. 3 days had passed since the festival, and Zara had been conspicuously absent from their scheduled cultural sessions. Instead, lower-ranking officials continued his education, their explanations mechanical and distant compared to the princess's engaging teachings. Something wasn't right. Under the pretense of research, Malik accessed the palace archives, a vast crystalline database of Nixian history. He searched for precedents of diplomatic relations with other worlds, finding troubling patterns. Previous contact attempts had been systematically sabotaged, always coinciding with power shifts within the royal court. "Ambassador Rahman?" a soft voice called. Malik turned to find Lena, Zara's personal attendant, looking nervously over her shoulder. "The princess asked me to give you this." She pressed a small, glowing crystal into his palm. "Be careful who sees you with it." The moment Lena departed, Malik activated the crystal. Zara's holographic form appeared, her expression tense. "Malik, I cannot speak freely. My movements are being monitored. Something is happening with the Earth-Nix treaty negotiations. Vex has convinced the elders that Earth seeks to colonize Nix. I know this isn't true, but I need proof to counter his claims." The message ended abruptly. Malik clutched the crystal, his mind racing. If Vex was manipulating the elders, the diplomatic mission, and possibly his life was in danger. That evening, Malik slipped into the restricted section of the archives. As he suspected, he found communications between Vex and unknown parties, detailing plans to sabotage Earth relations by fabricating evidence of hostile intent. "I thought you might be foolish enough to come here," Vex's cold voice echoed through the chamber. Malik turned to find the royal cousin flanked by security guards, their crystal staffs pointed at him. "You're manufacturing a crisis. Why? What do you gain from preventing an alliance?" Vex's lip curled. "Nixian purity. Off-worlders bring nothing but contamination of our bloodlines, our traditions, our power structures, especially when they captivate impressionable princesses." "This isn't about diplomacy," Malik realized. "This is about Zara. She is betrothed to me," Vex hissed, "a union that will solidify my claim to the throne. I won't let some alien disrupt centuries of careful planning." Before Malik could respond, the guards moved forward. "Ambassador Rahman is under arrest for violating sacred archives and disrespecting royal traditions," Vex announced formally. take him to the crystallization chambers." "You're reviving execution?" Malik struggled as they seized him. Vex smiled coldly. "Not execution, preservation. You'll make a lovely statue in the garden, a reminder of why Nyx should remain isolated." As they dragged him away, Malik caught sight of a shadow moving behind a column, a flash of purple skin and dark hair. Zara had witnessed everything. In the crystallization chamber, a cold, ancient room deep beneath the palace, Malik was secured to a platform beneath a massive focusing crystal. The device hummed with ominous energy. "The process begins at dawn," a guard informed him dispassionately. "Tradition allows one final night for reflection." Alone in the darkness, Malik contemplated his failure. Not just diplomatic failure, but personal failure. Somehow, amid all the cultural studies and negotiations, he had fallen for an alien princess, a violation of every professional boundary he had sworn to uphold. The chamber door slid open silently. Zara slipped inside, her eyes glowing in the dimness. "I heard everything," she whispered, deactivating his restraints. "Vex has been lying to everyone, including me." "Why risk helping me?" Malik asked as he stood, rubbing his wrists. Zara touched his face, a deliberate, meaningful violation of her culture's strictest taboo. "Because some rules are meant to be broken, and some touches are worth the risk."
"We must reach the Celestial Council chamber before Vex finalizes the rejection of the Earth Treaty," Zara explained as they hurried through hidden palace passages. "My father is there, but he's been fed false information." "Even if we reach them, it's my word against your cousin's," Malik pointed out. "A foreign ambassador accused of cultural violations." Zara stopped abruptly, her violet eyes intense in the dim light. "No, it's my word, the word of the crown princess. Vex has underestimated me, believing I'm merely a political pawn. He forgets I've been preparing to rule my entire life." They emerged in a service corridor behind the Grand Council chamber, where voices echoed in heated debate. Through a small observation panel, Malik could see Vex addressing King Torin and the assembled elders. "Clear evidence of Earth's militaristic intentions," Vex was saying, presenting falsified documents. "We must sever all diplomatic ties immediately and make an example of their ambassador." "A serious accusation," the king replied, his weathered purple features creased with concern. "Where is Ambassador Rahman now?" "Detained for his own safety," Vex lied smoothly. "For crystallization, he means," Zara whispered, anger flashing in her eyes. She straightened her posture, adjusted her royal insignia, and with a deep breath, pushed open the council doors. The chamber fell silent as she entered, Malik following 2 steps behind. "Father, honored elders, you've been deceived." "Princess," Vex's shock quickly transformed into calculated concern. "This off-worlder has manipulated you. Guards!" "Hold," King Torin commanded. "Speak, daughter." With methodical precision, Zara presented the evidence they'd gathered: Vex's secret communications, his plans to sabotage previous diplomatic missions, and his scheme to force a marriage alliance with her. And most grievously, he attempted to revive the crystallization punishment without royal approval, a direct violation of our modernized legal code. The elders murmured in shock. Vex's face contorted with fury. "You would betray your world for this alien? He's corrupted you with his touch." A collective gasp rippled through the chamber at such an accusation. Zara stepped forward, her dignity unwavering. "Touch is not corruption. Fear is. Fear of change, fear of difference, fear of growth. We've allowed ancient taboos to isolate us from the universe to our detriment." She turned to address the full council. "I have studied Earth's culture as closely as Ambassador Rahman has studied ours. Their diversity is their strength. Their willingness to evolve is what we lack." "The princess speaks wisdom," a female elder said, rising slowly. I have long believed our touch restrictions began as health protocols during the Great Plague, not sacred law. Perhaps it is time to reconsider which traditions serve us and which limit us. King Torrhen studied his daughter with new appreciation. What would you propose, Princess Zara? A new beginning, diplomatic relations with Earth, cultural exchange programs, and a gradual reevaluation of our most restrictive customs. As the council erupted in debate, royal guards surrounded Vex, who glared at Malak with undisguised hatred. "This isn't over, Earth Dweller," he hissed as they led him away. "The people won't accept this perversion of our ways." Hours later, after intensive deliberation, the council reached its decision. The Earth-Nyx Treaty would proceed, with Princess Zara appointed as permanent liaison to ensure cultural sensitivity. As the formal proceedings concluded, Zara found Malak in the palace gardens, gazing up at the three moons. "So, permanent liaison, that means we'll be working together for the foreseeable future. Is that acceptable, Ambassador?" she asked, a smile playing at her lips. "More than acceptable. But there's still the matter of cultural differences. Your people may not be ready to abandon all their traditions." Zara moved closer, deliberately entering his personal space. "Change begins with small steps. My father always taught me that a true leader doesn't just preserve traditions, they help them evolve." "And the touch taboo?" "Some taboos exist to be broken, when the time is right." With deliberate slowness, Zara reached out and took his hand in hers, fingers interlacing in a gesture that sent ripples of sensation through them both. For Nyxians, it was an unprecedented act of intimacy from their princess. "I think," she said softly, "that this is how new traditions begin." Around them, the crystalline flowers of the palace garden began to glow in response to their proximity, as if the very planet approved of this new connection. Malak gently squeezed her hand, marveling at how something so simple could feel so profound. "To new traditions," he murmured. As the three moons aligned in perfect harmony above them, a rare cosmic event that Nyxian legends said blessed new beginnings, Zara leaned forward and pressed her forehead to his, closing the final distance between their worlds. "And to touching," she added with a mischievous smile, "in all the right places, at the right times." The gentle laughter they shared echoed through the garden, the first notes of a harmony that would bridge not just their two worlds, but their two hearts, proving that even the strictest boundaries could not stand against the simple, powerful magic of connection.